Ryan Carter, the famous Playboy heir, openly declared that he only dated women on short-term arrangements. However, there were still lots of women eager to be his temporary girlfriend, because if he was in a good mood, he'd reward them with a villa. If he wasn't, they'd still walk away with $1 million breakup fee. People all laughed at me, saying I was the most miserable wealthy wife in history. They all thought I'd endure it for the rest of my life. I was going to, until Ryan brought a college student named Kelly Smith home. The girl looked ordinary, yet she was the first woman he kept longer than a month. Ryan gave me two choices: agree to an open marriage and let Kelly be on equal terms with me, or just divorce him, split the assets evenly, and go our separate ways for good. His friends were there, watching the show. They were sure I'd just keep being a pushover, putting up with everything. But to their surprise, I chose the latter without hesitation. In my previous life, I chose to endure, and what I got in return was Kelly pushing her luck further and further. She forbade Ryan from touching me or giving me any of his assets. In my later years, I couldn't help but envy Kelly, who ended up with everything: money, children, the whole package. Even after Ryan died, his will didn't grant me anything. All his inheritance was left under Kelly's control. I had been his lawful wife, but ended up with nothing at last. Reborn into this life, I finally figured everything out. This time, I just wanted to take the money and leave. I picked up the divorce agreement, read it carefully from beginning to end, and was about to sign my name. Ryan finally spoke.
Anna Taylor, think this through. Once you sign, there's no turning back.
I didn't stop. I quickly wrote my name down.
I'll pack my things and leave right now.
In my previous life, I thought bringing Kelly home was just another one of his tricks to mess with me. Naively, I believed that after all these years of marriage, he must have had at least a little affection for me. I was a fool. He and Kelly had kids one after another and grew old together in love. And I, in that house, was like an awkward outsider, mocked and ridiculed by everyone around me for my whole life. Not until my later years did I hear him talking with Kelly in a hospital room. He said that back then, the dramatic scene of catching a guy in my bed had been arranged by him personally.
I was just tired of her and didn't want things to get too ugly. So I staged the whole thing.
There wasn't a shred of guilt in his clouded eyes.
That way, all I did later seemed completely defensible.
So that was it. No wonder every time I desperately tried to explain, all I got was his cold disbelief. Because from beginning to end, he knew the truth. He didn't love me, yet he used a fabricated crime to trap me for 50 years. He could have ended it cleanly with one stroke, but instead chose to slowly torture me to death. Looking at the young yet still cold face before me, I felt nothing but hatred. He stared blankly at the signed agreement, his eyes filled with shock. Outside the door, the faint sounds of whispering abruptly stopped. The next second, my distinguished parents-in-law rushed in cheerfully.
Oh my, look at her. So young and so energetic.
My father-in-law, who had always treated me with hostility, was smiling kindly at this moment.
Finally, we can send away that useless one. It's been so many years, but there's no kid at all.
Sir, madam, please don't say that. I don't want to disrespect Anna, especially since I'm not much younger than Madam Anna. Actually, I'm already 1 month expecting. It's just still early, so I plan to tell you about it later.
As expected, still the same familiar sarcasm, the same nauseating tone. All these years, in order to be a useful wife, I worked myself to the bone at Carter Group during the day. At night, I still had to serve these two picky bastards. Just past 30, yet plenty of white hair had already crept into my temples. I did look kinda old. I turned back to my room and began packing my pitiful little bit of luggage. And I was already planning where I should go first to properly relax after getting the money. Didn't notice Ryan following me in.
It's so late. There's no need to move out immediately. Leave tomorrow.
Isn't the villa in the west of the city still empty? You can stay there for now. I'll visit you when I'm free.
Anna, you're just being emotional. Calm down. I know how much you love me, okay?
But I really can't let you be my legal wife anymore.
I can't let my child grow up being labeled as illegitimate.
I didn't respond. I just picked up my suitcase, walked past him, and headed straight for the door.
There's nothing left to say between us. I'm very happy we're divorced. If you really still have a conscience, hurry up and pay me what you owe.
The night wind carried fine snow as it rushed toward me, biting cold, yet unable to extinguish the fire burning in my heart. Ryan's efficiency was, as always, impressive. When I woke up, $3 billion was already in my bank account. With the money, the first thing I did was book Harbor City's most luxurious private club. Haircut, full-body spa, and everything. The haggard woman with graying temples in the mirror was gone. In her place stood a sharp-eyed beauty with flamboyant red hair. Just as I finished changing, my best friend Iris Allen called.
Anna Taylor, what's going on between you and Ryan? Have you lost your minds? What the hell happened?
What's wrong?
And you still ask what's wrong? Haven't you seen the news yourself? The headlines are full of Ryan and that woman at some banquet. He said in front of all the reporters, that woman is his only wife. He even said they're holding a wedding soon. Your stuck-up in-laws were right there too, saying that girl had it coming. Are you okay?
I never got such public acknowledgement, such recognition. Ryan had now given it to her.
I'm fine. We're already divorced. What? Divorced?
She'd watched me love Ryan for more than 10 years. She watched me bend over backward for this marriage, give up myself like a servant begging for scraps of affection.
Are you free tonight? Let's go get a drink. My treat.
In Harbor City's most extravagant bar, the booths were piled high with the priciest wine. Several young, handsome male models surrounded me, attentively pouring drinks for me.
Holy shit, I believe it now. You really have let go. You were never like this before.
Back then, to prove to Ryan that I wasn't after money, I calculated cost performance for everything. I had been afraid he'd think I was wasteful or didn't care about the family. Now, sitting in this luxurious private room, I looked at the woman reflected in the mirrored glass. The flamboyant red hair, the perfectly tailored haute couture dress, was strange, yet familiar. Iris raised her glass and clinked it hard against mine.
You look a bit like that once-in-a-century genius beauty from the finance department at Ace University.
She downed a huge gulp of wine and then complained.
Back then, so many venture capital firms were fighting to invest in you. If you'd started your own group, you'd have crushed Carter Group long ago, spending over a decade being a servant for his family. And after the divorce, you only got this much money.
Girl, I really think you deserve better.
I had been a servant for them for more than a decade. In my previous life, Carter Group, under my control, once dominated the national rankings as the strongest enterprise. Yet in my old age, I couldn't even afford a box of painkillers. In the end, I was thrown out by Kelly's children and died of illness beside a trash heap on a winter night. The business empire I built with my entire life went to Kelly and her children. Thinking of this, I drained the wine in my glass in one go. The spicy liquid burned down my throat, yet ignited the fire deep in my heart. I swore I would get back at them. Without me, could they really live so well? The very next day, news of my group registration spread like wildfire, stirring the entire circle. Some people sensed opportunity and rushed overnight with proposals, hoping to invest. But more people mocked and waited on the sidelines, waiting for the Carter family's reaction. Someone clearly gave instructions to the media, so paparazzi articles were all belittling me for overestimating myself. I looked at the push notifications on my phone and swiped them away expressionlessly. I just didn't expect to receive a call from Ryan.
Anna, can't you be a bit more understanding? I've just found true love. Besides, instead of starting some small, broken group, wouldn't it be better to stay at Carter Group, that Southern District merger you were handling before?
I hung up the phone directly, as expected. He had just remembered that I was still useful. That Southern District project was a tough nut I'd been working on for over half a year. I drank until my stomach perforated for it. Without me, Carter Group wouldn't even know where to start. At Carter Group, although I was the president, my monthly salary was only $1,000. All because my distinguished father-in-law said we were family and shouldn't be so calculative. I once naively believed that was his test for me. Now it seemed I was nothing more than an exceptionally capable, yet ridiculously cheap housemaid they had recruited. The more I thought about it, the angrier I became. I made up my mind at that time I would take over all those projects I brought to Carter Group in my previous life. Even if my new group couldn't deal with them, I would personally hand them over to Carter Group's deadliest rivals. After the call was cut off, Ryan slammed his phone to the ground in fury. All these years, he had grown used to my obedience, expecting me to show up on command and disappear at his whim. Now that I'd hung up on him so decisively, he felt really mad. At that moment, his special assistant awkwardly came in holding a stack of documents he couldn't even understand, asking him to sign them. Days of exhaustion, plus years of unfamiliarity with group affairs, had left him truly overwhelmed lately. Kelly followed the assistant in, took Ryan's hand, and said with eyes full of concern,
Ryan, don't work yourself too hard. I'm your wife now. Let me help share your burden.
He hesitated, somewhat uneasy.
You're still young and unfamiliar with group operation. Go rotate through the department first.
Anna Taylor could be the president. Why can't I?
Ryan subconsciously wanted to say that at least Anna was a top graduate from Ace University's finance department. But the moment he met Kelly's eyes, all his rationality was thrown away. His heart softened, and he just nodded. Kelly broke into a smile through her tears, hugged him, and said affectionately,
I'm just worried about you. Look at you, you've lost so much weight lately.
Less than half a month after my group started up, everything was already running smoothly. During this time, Kelly sent people over more than once to cause trouble. Just some petty tricks, all of which I brushed aside with ease. After all these years, the connections I'd built were far beyond what a little girl like her could compare to. Those senior employees at Carter Group whom I personally trained had long wanted to leave after hearing I'd gone solo, especially since after Kelly started working there, she kept suppressing them, making their days suffocating. I didn't rush to bring them over. I had them stir up a little chaos before they left, a small token of allegiance to me. Kelly thought losing a few people was no big deal, even secretly rejoicing that she'd cleared out some remnants of me. But she didn't understand. Some of them were critical for the group. Projects fell through one after another, and Carter Group's stock price plunged again and again. Meanwhile, on my side, with capable team members, we unleashed astonishing power, consecutively landing several deals worth tens of millions. Standing by the floor-to-ceiling window in the conference room, looking at the jubilant team below,
Tonight at OTK Club, it's all on me! No one leaves sober!
amid the thunderous cheers, I led everyone out of the group building in a grand procession. At the entrance, a familiar black Rolls-Royce was parked quietly by the roadside. The car door opened, and Ryan stepped out with an arrogant look, waving at me. I didn't even glance his way, leading my people straight ahead.
Anna Taylor, what do you mean? Didn't you see me? You've really grown bold now.